for a lot of people to get out and play, but I wasn't able to do my part of playing, but I'll do my part doing a golf radio show instead. So we will.
There you go.
See how that works.
Yeah. You get a hole-in-one for a good show.
For effort.
Yes.
A for effort. Well, they've opened that Pop Stroke is open up in out in Tradition.
Okay.
They've got it's not really miniature golf. It's a putting course, but it's like the holes are like, they look like regular golf holes.
Yeah.
They got little bunker areas and stuff like that.
Nice.
What they've done is the bunkers have like a longer grass, a longer artificial turf in it, so it's harder to putt out of if you hit your ball in there.
Okay.
So it's kind of a penalty, It's really interesting. And
have you played the course yet?
I have not played there yet.
It sounds like that could be about my speed.
I do plan to go out there. It's hard to lose balls out there.
Yeah.
Although if anybody can, it'll be Frank.
Oh, thanks. I love it.
But no, they one thing they do have is during the week they have specials for seniors until like 4:00 in the afternoon. Instead of $15 to play, it's $8.
Oh.
And they have food specials and everything else. So
sounds like more my
so
speed
for our seniors out there that want to.
Now, what does it take to be a senior? Everybody's got different.
I think it's 55 and over.
Okay. All right. So, all right. I meet the requirement.
So we meet. Okay. Yeah, I'm almost there.
You're almost there.
Ugh.
Oof.
Well, as my dad always used to say, the alternative's a lot worse.
Yeah.
No matter how bad this is, the alternative might be worse.
There you go. Very wise man.
Yes, he was. He was pretty good. Oh, man. Let's see. We've got all kinds of stuff. We're getting ready for the PGA Championship, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. This is an event that used to be held in August. It was the last major, and now it's the second major. They moved it up, kind of moved it around. They said the weather in May will make it easier for them to play in different places that would in August. It's just too hot.
Oh, I agree.
It also opens up the schedule for the PGA Tour, makes it easier for their Tour Championship, makes it easier for the Ryder Cup every other year when they play, because it's not the PGA Championship isn't right there.
Yeah.
So it also helps with the Summer Olympics when they have those. So it's not a bad move. It gives us basically 5 straight months of big events. We have the Players Championship in March. We have the Masters in April.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the PGA Championship in May. We have the U.S. Open in June, and then the Open Championship, or the British Open as we call it here, in July.
Right.
So,
and so the golf that they did for the I have a brain fade. I'll come back to it later. Go on.
Well, okay. It flew out of your head, and I saw it hit the wall over there, but then it disappeared. I don't know where it went.
Radiation damage.
We do live near the nuclear power plant.
It could be.
It's up the road there. They still. Oh man. Well, for the second year now, they've played the Zurich Classic in New Orleans as a team event.
Yes.
Used to be, just one, and it's like, you know what? They decided that they would play with partners. 2 players playing. They modified things as the rounds went by. One round was, you play your ball and you take the best score for the hole that between the 2 of you got.
Okay.
Then they play kind of a modified scramble, and then they play. The last day is alternate shot, which is very difficult to play. Basically the way it would work if you and I were playing is you would tee off first on all the odd numbered holes or the even numbered holes, and I would tee off on the opposite ones. And wherever you hit the ball, I got to hit it from there. So if you hit it in the sand or you hit it in the trees, and I got the next swing at it, so it's up to me,
Yeah, okay.
And wherever I hit it to, then you got to go hit it from there. And it makes for some interesting golf, because if one of you's off, it can make for a very long day.
Yeah.
It can make for a really, really long day.
If one of them is really on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Ryan Palmer, who last year played with Jordan Spieth, had to find a new partner.
Uh-oh.
And it just so happened that John Rahm from Spain, his partner last year, Wesley Bryan, is recovering from shoulder surgery. So the two of them decided, all right, you need a partner, I need a partner, let's go play. Well, it worked out really well. They won this thing. 3-stroke victory in the team event. They finished at 26 under par.
Wow.
They shot 65-69 in the two alternate shot rounds.
That's amazing.
Like I said, that's low. That's not easy to do.
Crazy low. Yeah.
Yeah, the 65 is insane. The 69 is really good.
Right.
But the 65 is like, wow, that's
4 strokes less. It's just amazing.
Yeah, you gotta, and that's tough when you're on as a player, but on your own.
Right.
But for both of you to get on and play that well as partners is pretty good. So congratulations to the two of them.
That is very cool.
For Palmer, it means a lot for Ryan Palmer. I mean, he's 40 years old. He's only one, so this bumps him up. The world standings, which will be good because that'll help him get into the U.S. Open and help him get into the British Open without having to qualify. So
at 42. So how many more years can he play before he has to retire and go to the seniors tour?
You don't have to retire and go to the senior tour, but the guys have found that it's a little easier as a 50-year-old playing with guys that are in their
60s,
upper 50s or into their 60s than it is to play against these young bucks that hit the ball so far and kind of seem to have nerves of steel these days.
Right.
So
not afraid of anything.
No, they don't seem to be. So congratulations to the two of them. It kind of makes you wonder what Jordan Spieth might have been thinking. Wow, gee, maybe I should have played in that event. First place check's pretty nice. I mean, even though you got to split it with somebody, it's not too shabby. But so congratulations to those two. And New Orleans is usually a neat stop because Emerald usually has his.
Oh, Lagasse. Yes.
He does his cooking thing. I know a couple of years ago, before they made this event, this is only the second year they've played this as a team event. So a couple of years, a few years back when they played this as a regular tour stop, Emerald had a thing for all the wives or girlfriends that came with their significant others to this event to play. And, he had a big cooking challenge and had a thing to show them how to cook and do this. So that was kind of neat. I mean, that'd be kind of neat. I mean, okay, honey, you go play golf. I'm going to go learn how to cook. So not too bad. The tour keeps getting, what's the word for it? They keep getting a lot of flack about how long it's taking them to play. And most of us, us recreational golfers, we can play a round of golf in, 4 hours, maybe 4 hours and 10 minutes is considered okay. You're right there. Any longer than that, you're holding things up. Faster than that, you were probably out before everybody else, or there wasn't anybody ahead of you, and you were able to play a little faster. But the guys on tour are playing 5.5, 6 hour rounds of golf. And a lot of that is because just the guys have learned, and most of them have a mental coach. You've got your swing coach, then you have your mental coach, and one of the things that they try to ingrain in you is repetition.
My mental coach would be working overtime
really hard.
Yeah, you put in for overtime pay.
And the idea of a lot of this is you keep this same routine, the same repetition, so that when a pressure situation comes up, you don't rush, you don't slow down, your body just kind of reacts, and it helps you not have jitters or not have yips, and supposedly helps you perform better under that pressure because your body's used to this routine. It knows what it's supposed to do next and the time it's supposed to do it in.
All right.
And the problem is some of these guys, they take forever. Maybe not so much tee to green, but once they get on the green. And some guys have wanted to, they say they got to get rid of these greens reading books. And basically the book shows a little cartoon or it shows a layout of the green.
Right.
It has all the little contours on it, give you an idea where the ball's going to break. There's arrows on it to show you, okay, this from here is really going to break hard, and it's really uphill or it's really downhill. And these guys, they look through that thing like, they're reading a Sunday paper. I mean, it's some of them are just, it's ridiculous how long it takes some of these guys to do this. And the PGA Tour and the USGA, they thought that by making it so that they didn't have as much detail on these maps of the greens that these guys carry around, that it would speed things up. They can't get as much information out of these as they used to. The scale is much bigger. They have, or the scale is, I guess it would be bigger. You don't have as much detail in these maps as you used to. Well, the problem now is these guys are looking at this, and now they're trying to figure. Well, now they're trying to figure out the details themselves based on a little bit of information. So it's taking them longer than it used to take them. Gary Player says they need to take those things and just throw them in the trash bin and be done with it.
Yeah.
If you can't, I think Gary Player said, if you can't read a green at the professional level of golf, you shouldn't be out here.
Right.
You shouldn't be out here. Because, coming up, not every golf course has these. I mean, you can go out to Martin County Municipal and they don't have these things for everybody.
Right.
And they wouldn't want the expense of having it done.
Right.
And it's fascinating the way they do these. What they actually do is they have I work for a land surveying company, and we have one of these instruments.
It's one of those 360.
It's a 360 laser
Right.
surveying instrument.
Takes a picture of everything it touches.
And it sends this little beam out, and basically you can pick up, differences as small as like an eighth of an inch.
Mm-hmm.
And they take that information, and then that's what they turn into these greens reading books. And it's so detailed, it's insane what you can get out of these. And, a lot of courses now, they use these when they're rebuilding something and they want to put it back the way it was.
Right.
They now know exactly what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
So they can get pretty darn close to how it was. And if you ask me, it's slowing things down. And Eduardo Molinari, who is the brother of the British Open champion.
Right.
He's Francesco Molinari, came out this past weekend and basically threw a bunch of guys at the bus, under the bus, who knows where. He made a lot of noise. He shot an opening round 69, left him towards the top of the leaderboard, but he sent out a tweet a couple days later after his third round 75 that he was just fed up with how slow the play was. He felt that the pace of play being so slow threw him off, threw off his rhythm. And I've seen that happen. I mean, John Daly is one of the fastest players on the planet. I've watched him, followed him in some rounds, and John tends to hit the ball a lot longer than everybody else. And as you know, playing golf, whoever's furthest from the hole hits first.
Right.
Well, John would get to his ball and he'd have to wait for the other two guys to hit. And when it got to be his turn, he was ready to go. But he was so ready to go that when the other player hit his shot, the ball would still be in the air and Daly's hitting. Daly's already at it. I'm done. I'm hitting it. Let's go. I've seen him play a round of golf where he was one of the first people off on the weekend. And him and his group, they would play a tour golf course in 3 hours.
Wow.
Just
boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah. Let's hit it. Let's go find it. Let's hit it again. Let's go.
Yeah.
So you can see where
man on a mission.
So you can see where somebody that, kind of plods along
5 hours
and putzes around would throw somebody like him off because I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
My body's ready. I can't slow myself down this much. And so Eduardo Molinari is like, we need to address this. We need to do this.
Right. Well, pace of play is hitting so many of the other professional sports too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then what kills me is you get the people that say, well, look at all the money they're playing for. Well, I understand that. But, guys in football are playing for a lot more money. And you've got 30 seconds snap the football and play. They don't care. Well, I'm not quite ready yet. They're not going to stop everything and go, okay, well, we'll wait till you're ready, Tom Brady, before you snap the ball.
Right.
That doesn't happen. Same thing in basketball.
Right.
You've got a shot clock. You can't just sit there and dribble around and wait for the right moment. You got 24 seconds before you need to put up a shot. And golf has tried, the 1 minute thing where, okay, you got a minute and you better hit.
Yeah.
Which is all fine and dandy, but they don't enforce it very much. And when they do enforce it, it's kind of in secret. So you really don't know who it is that's getting slapped. And and then guys watching it at home on their couch on Sunday, well, man, he makes a lot of putts. I need to start reading I need to start reading putts a little more than I do. Yeah. And the next thing you know, everybody's roaming around, taking way too long to play, and it'll drive you nuts.
Yeah.
I've been behind people that it's like, look, you're watching the guy and he's pestering around over a 3-foot putt. And you're like, dude, that's for an 8. Just hit it already. I watched you hit 2 in the water and your drive was out of bounds. So just, you really, really, really need to make this 3-foot putt. Come on. Somebody give it to him and let's go. Get off the green. I want to hit.
All right.
But, yeah, they
don't make car horns for golf courses, right?
Maybe they should. Molinari also listed I guess the guys on tour are privy to some of the information that gets put out there. Mm-hmm. And he was privy to, who some of the guys that have been on the clock, have been in trouble. His brother actually happens to be one of them, which was interesting that he kind of told on his brother. And on this list he's got here, there's one guy that was timed 10 different times. He was put on the clock.
Wow.
But he was never fined. Not one. Every one of these guys on here has no fines. They have not been fined. And some of them have been, 3 times, 2 times, 3 times. You're getting in trouble. You're out of position. You need to get going, and nothing gets done. And this is basically what he's complaining about. He's like, this, it's getting ridiculous.
Right.
And, I agree with it. What do you do? Because, there's the possibility. I mean, it's tough watching on TV when, they go to a guy on the green. Okay, here's so-and-so for a birdie. And you got to wait 30 or 40 seconds before he does something because he's not ready yet. And, it hurts viewership, which is going to eventually hurt their money because if viewership drops, then, you can't charge as much for the commercials, which means you're not bringing in as much. Let's see, looking at this list. Adrian Otaguai. I mean, these guys are all on the European tour where Eduardo plays. He got fined $3,000, nice. And he was timed 6 times.
Wow,
6 times. That's a lot. But yeah, and he, according to the list, and Louis Oosthuizen, former winner of the British Open, has had a pretty good season this year too, is another gentleman that's been fined $3,000. Now, $3,000 is a good chunk of change, but it's not. If you're playing for $1 million,
right?
And if you're looking at the difference between first and second place, and it's $300,000 or $400,000, what's $3,000?
Yeah,
that's not much,
right?
Now, in the case of Matt Kuchar, it's what you pay your caddy in Mexico. But
somehow I knew you were about to go there when you started laughing. I go, okay, here we go. That poor guy, he's never going to. I think that's going to follow him to the end.
To the end
of his career.
It just might. It just might. You never know. But hopefully they can do something about it. I mean, baseball now even has, they have a timer for when the pitcher needs to pitch.
Yes.
Because you used to get pitchers would sit there and go, No, I don't like that pitch. No, the catcher's running through, and you see the catcher shaking his head like, dude, pick one. You only have 4 pitches. You know how to throw.
And
pick one of them.
The guy in the batter's box would call for a timeout to try to throw off the pitcher, and the umpires are saying, "Okay, we're not going to let you keep doing this."
Yeah. Yep.
So it's all about pace of play.
Yeah. I used to umpire softball, and we had a couple of guys that, they want to get in there. And there was one guy I knew him well. He would never, ever, ever hit the first pitch. Never. But he had to have his batting gloves just right and his stance just right, and he had to dig his back foot in. And I'm like, dude, you're not going to swing at this pitch. So why are you going through all this quandamos to get to this point?
Right.
When you're just going to watch it go by no matter where it is.
Right.
And then you step out, you fix your glove again. It's like, come on, you know what? This is a recreational. We only got an hour to play this game. You need to pick it up a little bit. We don't want to spend 5 minutes of it watching you goof around.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I think some of those batters are really, they end up just getting balls called strikes just to improve the pace of play. Okay, all right, you're going to get penalized. Okay, that was close. I could have called it a ball, but, it was close enough. I think I can call it a strike.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oops. And I think that's just strike 3. You can sit down now.
Tell you what, now you can go sit down. I don't have to worry about you anymore. Get out of here.
I think a lot of that does enter into, although they don't say it, but I'm sure that probably enters into some of the thinking.
You would think so. I mean,
pace of play.
Because nobody wants to stand around watching you goof around.
I've heard stories of umpires that they heard a good crisp snap of that ball hitting the catcher's mitt. They'd call it a strike if it just sounded good.
Yeah, if it just sounded good. There you go. I played in I watched remember what was his name? The guy that used to he'd travel around. It was fast pitch softball. He would travel around, and he'd have himself, his catcher, a first baseman, and 1 or 2 fielders, and that was it.
Yeah.
And they would take on
anybody.
Yeah. And it was for charity, and we went to this thing. And one of the things they did was the catcher came out, talked to the pitcher, and he handed the catcher the ball. And then he kind of stood on the mound and went through his motion,
right, and
pretended to throw it, and the catcher would smack the mitt and then throw the ball back to him. And the whole idea was, the batter's like, man, I didn't even see that, and everybody about died one time. This event I was at when the guy did that because the umpire called a strike.
Right.
And not only did the umpire call a strike, but the batter stepped out and goes, it was outside. He swore he saw it, and it wasn't even close to being a strike. And everybody just started dying because it was like, dude, you're the only one that doesn't get the joke.
That is too rich. That is great. That is great. I love that stuff. It's like the Harlem Globetrotters, to the charity games. Those are a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Some people that are taking some time off. Michelle Wee has decided she's going to take some time off to let her hand heal. She had hand surgery.
Right.
And it's
her finger, right?
Yeah, I guess it just hasn't quite healed right. She missed the cut last
week
because of it. She had to. She played but didn't play well, and I think she wound up withdrawing. She was so far back. And Lexi Thompson, she's not taking time off from golf, but she's taking time off from Instagram and social media. She's a member down at Trump International down in West Palm. Plays at that club a lot, practices there, plays out of there. I believe she has their logo on her bag as well. And she, put something up on Instagram because she played a round of golf with the president.
Yeah.
And people just got mean, rotten, and nasty to her about that. And you got so many, keyboard macho people.
Right.
These keyboard heroes that decide that I can say whatever I want and do whatever I want because, I'm anonymous behind this keyboard. And she she was a little upset about some of the things that were said. And in her defense, I mean, it's some things it's not easy to just ignore.
Right.
And so she decided she's going to take a break. She said anything that comes up on social media is going to be posted by her people, her management team. So she's taking some time away because of that. So good for her. I mean, she can concentrate a little more on her golf, but it's kind of a sad state that, you know, people are able to do that. I mean,
yeah.
You know, and then the problem is you get these idiots that go, ha, look what I did. Now I'll really bug somebody.
Happy Gilmore all over again.
I'm telling you, a baseball bat to the teeth would probably be good. Well, we're gonna take a break. We get back, we'll go through some more golf.
Nice.
Yeah, they played a little more golf.
All right. And if you have any questions for
yes, please,
my esteemed colleague here on the other side of the table, give us a call at 220-9788. Operators are standing by.
They look a lot like Frank.
Yes, they do. All right. All right, we'll be right back, so stick with us.
And we're back on the Wednesday Night Golf Show, the Humpday edition.
Humpday. Yep. On this date, in the year 1915, the British luxury liner Lusitania left on its ill-fated voyage from New York Harbor to Europe. A week later, it would be torpedoed and sunk by the German U-boat. So, hence when we were in school, the thing was that they told us was, remember the Lusitania. That was the big moniker to get everybody excited, ginned up for.
Ginned up.
Well, yeah, basically.
I like that. I always love that phrase.
Right? Get them all.
Now, didn't they find that they were carrying a lot of arms and some other stuff on that ship?
Right. It was
they weren't supposed to be.
Well, it was a passenger ship, though. I mean, but look at, people mix stuff. You know, when you're a passenger on a commercial airliner, you don't know what's in the cargo.
That's true.
You just don't.
That's true. That's true.
So, anyways, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. Hey, Australia's Minjee Lee won the Hugel Air Prima LA Open in California on Sunday. It was her 5th LPGA title. Won by 4 shots. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Played well. On the European Tour, after six second-place finishes in 8 seasons on the European Tour, Spain's Jorge Campillo won his first title. This guy watched the end of this on Sunday morning, and the announcers, everybody seemed pretty happy for him because he's been out there for, I believe, like 8. I think this is his 10th year on tour.
Right.
And like I said, he's got 6 second-place finishes. He's got several top 5s and even more top 10s, but never, always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Right.
Finally won the European Tour's Trophy Hassan II in Morocco. Pretty cool trophies. These that's one thing I like about the European Tour. And our late buddy Mike Murphy used to talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
The trophies on this tour are so cool. And this trophy was actually a scabbard with jewels and all on the handle. I mean,
Wow.
it's like, that's so cool. It's so much better than this, a glass trophy with something etched on it. I mean,
Yeah.
anybody can do that.
Yeah. To put that over your mantelpiece, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
And I mean, I've seen some of the other trophies they have. One of them is actually like a rhino on a plaque. It's like, no, it's a rhino. It's like this big giant rhino. He's like, he's like a good 2 feet long, and the trophies are a rhino. It's some event in Africa. It's really neat.
Wow.
They have one in that they play over in Southeast Asia, and the trophies actually is a tiger.
Okay.
I mean, you don't get a real tiger, but I mean, the trophy itself is shaped like a tiger. It's pretty neat. I mean, it's neat. They do some neat stuff over there for their trophies. I always thought that those
a little bit of thought goes
those are
into
pretty
it.
Cool.
It's just not a cup with some etchings on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in that, I couldn't even tell you what the commercial's for anymore. It might be for Vegas. Now that I think about it, where the guys are running through the hotel and they're holding up this big vase trophy looking thing,
right?
And they're going champions, and they're showing people taking pictures with them, and they're getting drinks bought, and they're all running around. And when they get done, they're walking back to their room, and the guy walks by this table in the lobby or in the hallway, and he puts the thing back down and puts the flowers back in it, and they walk off to their room. He just grabbed that, and everybody thought it was a trophy, big trophy they'd won for something. So everybody was partying with him. It's like, now that's brilliant.
Yeah,
that is actually,
that guy knows how to party.
That is actually brilliant. The Seminole Golf Club right down the road here in Jupiter,
yes,
has a new member. They're saying now that he's become a very popular member.
Really?
Rory McIlroy's father, Jerry. Yep.
All right.
Is now a member at Seminole Golf Club. Competed in his first Coleman Invitational last week. Not sure exactly what that is, but everybody seems to like him there, so that's good.
All right.
That's good. He seems like a pretty good guy. I've met him a couple times. He's the guy that bet money in on his son winning a major. He bet money, when his son was like a young teenager.
Right.
He got some sort of odds from some bookmaker in Ireland, and he bet money that Rory would win a major by the time he was 20 or something like that.
Right.
And Rory wound up doing it. And like
cashed in. Ka-ching.
That's pretty cool. Can you imagine waiting 7 or 8 years to cash in on
that? Yeah, it was, I guess, on the record.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
Let's see. The Scott Harvey, who none of us know, won that Coleman Invitational at Seminole Golf Club.
Okay.
It's the second time in 3 years that he won that thing.
That Coleman camping equipment?
You almost wonder
Could be.
if that's where it came from. I mean, there's a lot of
Coleman
lot of big money there at Seminole Golf Club. I mean, that's
a lot of money in recreational camping too.
Yeah.
I used to have a Coleman camper.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, your little pop-up.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's true. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else is going on? Let's see. We have Martin County's about to close.
Oh, no.
Not the county itself, but Martin County Golf Course.
Okay.
They are closing for probably the rest of I would say about the rest of the year. They're spending several $1 million. They're going to renovate. They're going to take what we've known as the the red and the white course, the 2 9s that are on the east end.
Right.
And they're basically just going to bulldoze those down.
Wow. They
are going to turn that area. They're going to build a new driving range, a new clubhouse. The driving range, there's talk they're going to try to fashion it similar to the new facility up in Vero Beach, which is kind of like a Topgolf sort of venue that will allow people to come out and play at night, people to come out and while they're hitting balls, watch, a baseball game or a hockey game or something like that while they're there hitting balls.
All right.
and more learning their game. And the idea of this is, okay, it's smart, because if you take people that you make it a little more fun to hit balls and learn how to hit balls and all, then you graduate from there. Maybe you catch the fever a little bit, and then you move out onto the golf course, or and then eventually you play. So you kind of throw some seed out there, and you hope it holds.
So, I mean, I remember when they were contemplating this project, they talked about selling off some of the real estate to the airport, to help finance the project.
Yeah, that
didn't end up happening, though.
No, they didn't. But they had to, because of where some of the holes were that were over at the end of the runway. They had to get rid of those because of the flight zone and golf balls flying through there. They're then now going to take that area, and they're going to turn it into an executive golf course. So it's going to be short, a lot of par threes, maybe a couple of par fours, to use a lot less area and not use that area that the airport needs clear for planes.
Got it.
So they're doing that. They're also going to rebuild all the cart paths. They're keeping the blue and the gold course, which are the two Ron Garl designed golf nines that are in the very back out by the airport. But they're the most popular of the two. They're probably a little better designed than the other ones. I mean, the blue and the red and the white course have been there for, I want to say, since 1924. It was somewhere back, before the Great Depression, that they built that golf course. I mean, it's on the historic trail, the historic golf trail for Florida, and now they're going to be gone. So it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, you can see the Tin Lizzies rolling up to the parking lot.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
really. That would have been the day, wouldn't it? That would have been neat.
Yeah.
Well, I hear the music. We're going to take another break.
Yes.
Yay. Come on, people, pick up your phone. Give us a call. Let's talk about something.
Yeah.
220-9788. WSTU Radio. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Wednesday Night Golf Show, the Humpday edition, as we call it. This past weekend, the Champions Tour played one of their more unique events. It's called the Bass Pro Shops Legends of Golf. And what makes it interesting is they kind of play an executive course. It's called the course they play on is called the Top of the Rock. and it's interesting. Some of the holes had like 100 foot of elevation change on a par three. I saw one hole. Tom Watson was teeing off, and he's like way up top, and the green's way down there. And it's like, how do you judge distance on stuff like that? That's just insane. I mean, you and I have here in Florida. I got no idea.
Yeah.
I could never figure that out. How much less club to hit because it's going to fly for so far, so long.
Serious roll too.
Yeah, or it's just gonna come straight down and it's just gonna stop.
Big thud.
It might, if you're hitting into the wind, it may come back to you by the time it gets down. But yeah, it's an 18-hole golf course which Jack Nicklaus originally designed. It's in Missouri. And it, like I said, it was just really, really neat to watch these guys play this thing. Tom Pernice Jr. won this thing, shot 23 under. He beat out Scott Hoke in a playoff. But it's, like I said, it's just neat to watch because it's the guys. You get, Arnie used to play in this. Jack used to play in this. Lee Trevino would play in this event, even though they weren't playing full time on the tour, or even playing anymore on the Champions Tour. They'd play this event because it's a little par three. It's not a lot of walking. I mean, granted, it's up and down some serious hills, but it wasn't like they had to hit 250, 275-yard drives all day long in order to compete. They can still hit their irons pretty good on a 150-yard hole. So. Yeah, Tom Watson, the aforementioned Tom Watson, finished tied for 57th.
Wow.
He shot 3 under par for the week, or the weekend, I guess you would call it. Some other guys in here, Retief Goosen finished tied for 33rd. Let's see, Scott Verplank, 22nd. One of my favorite guys, Miguel Angel Jimenez.
Jimenez, yes.
He finished tied with Jose Maria Olazabal at 8 under par. They were in 21st place. John Daly played in this event. I wonder how much he had to dial back, because John hits everything a long way.
Yeah,
and you kind of wonder, okay, how much did he have to dial back to hit some of these short shots that he had to hit on this golf course? 3 instead of a 1. Yeah, exactly. It'd be interesting to see, and then you wonder, okay, how many wedges did some of these guys carry in their bag? They carry like 4 or 5 different wedges because
they create some loft.
To cover all the shots, because you probably didn't need a 4-iron or a 5-iron. Chances were you weren't going to need it, so why carry it?
Well, true that. Yeah.
So, congratulations to Tom Pernice. Haven't heard his name in a while. Vijay Singh, who almost won the Honda.
Right.
Finished tied for 3rd at 18 under par. That's a good way to pad your stats, I guess.
Yes.
Playing in something like this, you can pad your stats, make it look really good.
Yeah.
So let's see. What else? Let's see. Some equipment news. Cameron Champ, who is one of the young guys on tour that's been he's one of the longest guys on tour, hits the ball a long, long way, has tinkered with his wedges. So I guess that's the old saying, drive for show, putt for dough. And it used to be all the guys who could hit it a long way never had any feel around the greens. They couldn't. Yeah, that's where you got them.
Yeah. All
right, they're not going to be able to chip and putt. So yeah, he outdrove me by the length of a Walmart, but. But he's from here on in, I got him. So, it's not quite the same anymore. It doesn't quite work that way. Titleist won the golf ball count. They also, Odyssey had the most putters in play. Let's see, Bridgestone. Now Bridgestone makes Tiger Woods golf ball. Mm-hmm. In fact, Bridgestone used to make the Nike that Tiger played.
Didn't we have a guy from Bridgestone?
Yes, we did.
Here on the station, right?
Yep. Not that long ago, we had one. Yeah. It took less than 48 hours for Bridgestone to sell out they're a limited edition golf ball package that they came out with to commemorate Tiger's victory at the Masters.
48 hours.
48 hours. And how many golf balls did he say they made a day?
Oh, it was nuts.
It was in the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
And it took them 2 days to sell out whatever this. I wonder how many of those they made. I got to find out how many of those they sold.
Yeah.
Because that, I guarantee, was a bunch.
That could be a good call for a revisit on a future show.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Let's see. Oh, boy. We got the President's Cup is coming up. It's 8 months away. It's not coming up till towards the end of the year. They're playing in Australia, so that's part of it.
Okay, so now Trump, will he be on that?
No,
he won't be on that course.
No, he won't be on that team either. I don't think. No,
it would be a natural.
But a couple of guys teamed up. Some guys that are probably going to team up as teammates for the President's Cup teamed up to play in this Zurich Classic as teammates, just to kind of get an idea how well their games matched. So that's a pretty good idea on the part of some of the guys managing the President's Cup. So that was a pretty good idea. Ernie Els is the captain of the European team, or excuse me, the world team, not the European team. The European team is the Ryder Cup. So, so I guess and speaking of Ernie Els, he's been granted a special exemption for the second straight year into the United States Open Championship. So congratulations to Ernie. Ernie's a good guy. I've met Ernie several years ago when I met him in Hawaii when I was there for the Grand Slam of golf, and got to talk to Ernie quite a bit. Some of us in the media, we were shooting pool one night, and Ernie's caddy showed up. Ernie's caddy was in there, and he's like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" I've never shot pool before. And I'm like,
I have a cousin like that.
I'm like, yeah, because you call it snooker where you're from. And he looked at me and started laughing. I was like, yeah, I'm not. You can go ahead and take their money. You're not taking mine. I was like, no.
My cousin used to do that.
It's semantics. It's not that you haven't played pool. You haven't played what we call pool. You haven't
Show me how you hold the stick.
Yeah, exactly.
Start with that
exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, talked to his wife Liesl quite a bit. In fact, when he won when Ernie won the Bay Hill Classic a few years later, I was over covering that event and walked into the media room there when he was coming out, and Liesl she saw me and she waved me over and had me sit next to her, and she was talking with me. They walked over and they handed her this big beautiful bouquet of roses, and that was her prize. I guess Ernie got the like she wasn't going to get some of the check too. Yeah. But so Ernie walks out to do the press conference, and he looks at her and he's smiling. He looks at me and he jokingly looks and he goes, "Did you give her those?" I was like, no, not me. And he starts laughing. Like, "Hey, out there you give my wife a dozen red roses." I was like, no, it wasn't me. So yeah, Ernie's a good guy, and does a lot of work for autism, and is down. He lives right down the road here in Jupiter. So,
well, we need to get him in studio.
Yeah, it would be nice. It'd be nice to get some of these guys. I mean, the problem is they're all playing right now. A lot of them are really, really, really busy.
Yeah.
Right. So, and sounds like that wraps it up for us.
Yeah.
Yay. Was running out of stuff to ramble on about.
Well, it was very informative. It was neat stuff.
Yeah, there you go. This week, the the PGA Tour is at the Wells Fargo Championship. The European Tour is in China, the Volvo China Open. And the ladies are at the Meta Heel Championship. So tune in, watch some of that. Between the Golf Channel and the networks, you should get more than your fill of golf this weekend. And we'll see you next Wednesday, folks. Stay well, stay safe, stay dry. It's supposed to rain a little bit here and there.